Hey guys, welcome back. It's Anna Chaos, and today I pretty much want to go ahead and continue kind of providing some updates based on the last video. But before we do, let's go ahead and go through the usual drill. So if you want more information about the Captain Hobbes project, we're on captainhobbes.com. We're also on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, which I've recently been updating. We are also on Threads. We are also on Instagram, and we're also on Blue Sky. I am currently not on X and I am not on TikTok, mostly because it feels like every other week we don't know if TikTok is going to stay or disappear, or X because it's a dumpster fire right now. I don't want to touch it with a 20-foot pole, if I may be frank. I just don't have the energy for it. Thanks. Okay. Now, this is something unique. There's something that I'm kind of, if you listen to my last couple videos, I've been kind of, how do you say, uh, struggling with this. I'm a person that struggles with receiving help. But after talking to a friend of mine, he pretty much says like, Anna, it's okay to receive help even with this point. As you guys know, I lost my job in February and I've been actively looking, seriously, like heavily looking. And I've been doing every effort to do so, but as we all know, the job market right now is not very stellar. So what I've been doing in the meantime between the job applications, I'm pretty much just been kind of either investing on all of my extra projects, learning new skills and stuff. And one of the things that my friend told me is like, and I know that you don't want to kind of ask for people for help, but ask for help. So right here is my PayPal. I actually added this link to YouTube. So if you go right up here, if you go to find more links, there is the link to PayPal to donate. That say you don't need to, but it's up there. You can see Anna Brunandino, and there's my little picture of me. What are you doing back there, meow meow? I see you. Okay, and I go by Anna Chaos. It's been my gamer tag for a long time. So if you feel like kind of helping out, you want to like donate $1 or whatever, I greatly appreciate it. You don't need to. Just the fact you guys are joining me every week, it makes me very appreciative. But my friend had a real talk with me. He's like, Anna, it's okay to accept help. So this is me humbling down, accepting help. And mostly, like I said, I keep my stuff separate. If I am asking for help, this is towards the project. This is not towards me because I am a little bit okay for a little bit, but I want to make sure that I continue this project forward. But it's very hard to do so if you don't have resources, which unfortunately tends to be MUA. Okay, so the last time talked, I was talking about how I'm considering AI tools. I had a couple ideas what kind of tools I wanted to use. However, a couple additional questions came up for me because I do have a background in production, but there's a lot of stuff around AI that hasn't quite how do you say been established yet. So I guess the best way that I can do is just kind of walk you guys through my thought process. And by the way, if any of you guys are versed in AI, I would love to hear your experiences. I do my best to go back and read through the comments, for folks who leave them, and I do my best to answer them. I actually now know how to get to the comments, which I couldn't figure that out before, but now I do, and I check it quite regularly. But yeah, so one of the tools that I was talking about was Polo AI. And right here, they seem to have like three versions of the subscription. And as you can see right here, I have consider, I got yes or no. And then I kind of narrowed it down by what each tool can do. So right now, this specific tool can do image and video. I did not find it they use any particular third party, but what I learned towards the end of my first round of research is that apparently you have the core AI tools such as DALI, and they kind of grab that piggyback offer and then modify it so it makes it easier to use, and that's the services that you're paying for. Now right here, I also looking at my costs. Per my previous video, the one thing that I mentioned is that I want to keep my production budget to $100 a month on the tools. That's not counting my Adobe stuff because my Adobe stuff is stuff that I use for my freelance. I consider that a necessary separate cost. This is just for my AI tools for production for this project. So right here, what I'm saying is, there's a couple bucks for this. Now, here's something important. What I learned as I was digging through these or kind of researching this is that the way that these AI platforms work or these AI providers is that they do their payment via tokens. So I'm thinking back of when I was younger and I used to go to Chuck E. Cheese or the local arcade. You're like, man, I got $10, and I will get like four. Technically it was like quarters, so 1-to-1 ratio. So I would get four tokens for $1. So at $10, I would get 40 tokens. And as a kid, you felt rich AF if you had 40 tokens in your hand. So what was really cool about that is that, you're like, oh man, it costs like, I have 40 tokens, but then you go to the machine, it'll be like 5 tokens per game. So you felt rich until you realized, oh, okay, so I'm not as rich as I think that I am. And it's some kind of similar with this AI thing. So you start seeing these extravagant numbers. You're like, okay, 300, 800. I even saw as far as like 11 million. I was like, holy shnikes. But then when I started looking at the ratio of like, hey, per dollar I get this many tokens, this is my return on investment, or this is what I get for that, then it became a different outlook on that. I also started learning that there's kind of different types of tokens that these people provide, these different platforms provide. Obviously, free will give you trial. Some of them are personal, and some of them they do like community, like pots. So let's say you're in a small team of like 10 people, and you're using certain tools. You can Some of them give you like the option to have like a pool of tokens that everybody within your team can use, and they're shared tokens. So that's another thing that I've learned. Now, this was really important. You need to, when you're looking at AI or any type of generative things that you didn't create, you need to make sure that if you pay for them, you have the ability to use it for commercial use. Because sometimes you get offer free things, but you're not authorized to use it other than for fun or personal use. So that's something that was very imperative to me to find out. So you can see right here, obviously the free stuff on average you don't get commercial use, but once you get the paid versions, that's something that is part. But even then, don't automatically assume that just because you're paying for it, it's automatically commercial use. It's based on the tier, so it's very important that you read the instructions or whatever they're saying is offered. Like right here, I was looking at Luma Labs. So Luma Labs, like the free and the light, doesn't include commercial use, but once you start going into the plus and higher tiers, then they permit you actual commercial use of the products that you created using their platform. Now, some of them offer this right here. It's called a speed token. And so not only are you getting a base amount of tokens, but you also get like 100 tokens or whatever. So I'm going to use this as an example. So if I get 300 credits, it will give me like 100 tokens, and I can use that token to expedite it. I haven't quite narrowed down the reason for this, but here is my assumption. And again, if you're an avid user of AI tools, I do welcome your feedback because I am learning a lot about this environment. And again, I have very limited resources, so I welcome any of your feedback. Um, so my understanding is there's a queue. You have millions of people, and obviously people that are free are low priority, and then people that are higher pay are higher priority, so they're going to be moved up in the queue. It's in the queue. So you have speed tokens. Now, again, just like everything else, just because you have 100 tokens doesn't mean you're going to get speed up 100 times. You have to read to that. So some of them offer these speed tokens, some of them don't. So that's something else to also look into. Some of these platforms offered 3D models only, and then some of them didn't. So even though they look 3D, you're just getting the 3D end result. You're not actually getting the 3D asset, and that's where like Meshi comes in. Meshi allows you to create 3D assets, generate them real quick. So if all you're doing is like a background filler, you can quickly just generate vases and tables and stuff just to drop in the background, and then you can just kind of move around those environments. Versus some of them, they just give you a finalized image that looks like a 3D image. So that's a couple of things that I just kind of learned as I was going through. Type of ownership. Now, this is something that I thought it was interesting because these are platforms that are using a lot of they're pretty much learning models. When you customize or you create something in those environments, so carefully read the terms and conditions. This is something that I learned. is that when you create something, it automatically goes to like out in the open. So if there's let's say there's 1,000 people using the platform, when you create image A, everybody in the pool can see it. So some of them, they actually offer the privacy of the content that you create as a service or a SaaS, service what is it? No, software as a service or service as a service. I can't remember. There's like SaaS, PaaS, there's all that crap. Anyway, so it's part of the services. So you can create content and you can make it private so only you can see it, only you can use it. So something else to keep in mind. Now, right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this as an example. So Polo AI, for $15, I can generate up to 30 videos a month. It's like, man, that sounds great, right? You're thinking like videos. No. If you do the freebie one, you get 3 to 5 seconds. If you do the pay one, you get 3 seconds to 60 seconds. And let me tell you, that comes in handy, especially when you are building I don't know, a short, an animated short. So it's important to understand how much you're getting for the bang for your buck. So this is one of the key things that I was also looking into. You can also create images. Now, right now, I'm looking at a combination of mostly like images and AI animation, because the images are going to help me generate some of the backgrounds, and then I'll be able to feed that into the algorithm or to train it, and then I'll be able to drop the character, and then that gives the AI the information it needs in order to animate the actual scene that I wanted to do. But you have to build those assets out to give it a point of reference so that way it keeps consistency and all that stuff. Again, this is learning. If you've used AI and you have better suggestions, I welcome your suggestion, please. Okay, the other thing I've seen, they got parallel math. I still don't quite know what this is, but some of them offer them and some of them didn't. They do have, some of them have custom model training. It seems like a lot of them do. Some of them do APIs. But custom model training is for people that want to get specific for, let's just, for the sake of it, just be very specific on how they do their imagery. And some of them do offer character creation. Again, there's a speed token right here. Multi-model support, so that means and I'm gonna guess right here. Again, I couldn't find everything, but multi-model support is that you're running several models at the same time. This is especially when you're doing production. If you're doing one render at a time, it takes forever. So you normally have like a render farm in order to pretty much do your output a lot faster. Otherwise, you're gonna be there forever rendering. Okay, some of these provide text to video. So technically it's text to image, text to video, image to video. So that's more like keyframing. So you have pose A and pose V, where you provide the two images and then the software will do the in-betweens. Then you got video to video. So in that case would be like you have a video and then you want to blend it with this video, and you can do video to video. And then you can do that. And then this is when it's also important. So keeping your character consistent. This is one of the things that I've seen that it kind of concerns me as I'm going through this journey of exploration and learning, is that people are making some really cool AI stuff, but the consistency is kind of lacking. And the last thing you want to do when you're making a product is pretty much trying to take your user out of immersion, because they're going, ah, see, their eyeball floated away. So it just kind of takes them out of the story. So continuation or consistency is important. So I'm also looking at that as well. AI animation generator, AI image generator. So again, some of these are kind of similar, but again, I'm going to consolidate this down as I go, because the problem is, as you go through these services, each one of them offer something a little different. So they're kind of the same, but they're kind of not. So that's why you see certain columns, they kind of look like they repeat. But in between me kind of going through this process, I was able to identify what is important to what I have in mind in my head. Okay, template effects. Apparently some of these have templates that you can use. Almost every platform today offers some sort of template to just kind of give you a starting point. AI video enhancements, if you want to add special effects. So some of them offer it, some of them don't. If you're doing video generation, some of them actually even give you the option to do camera movements. So if you want to do a pan, so that way it's not just the camera sitting stiff and the character walking, you want to do character walking down forest made out of lollipops as camera pans across, and some of these actually do have that capability. Now, depending on obviously what level of service you are you're subscribing to. There's different levels of services, so make sure you're reading through that. Not to mention, make sure you can get service in the language that you're operating in. Because I found some of these, and I'm not sure if you see them right here. Some of these will say Singapore, USA, California, and all that stuff. And the main reason why I was trying to make sure I identified as many of these as possible is because if I need support, can I get support, and then can I read the support? Because some doesn't even have a live agent. It's just like a white paper that you read through. So if it's in, let's say, like, I don't know, it's in Portuguese, I might be able to translate it. Nah, it won't be 100%. So I try to make sure I keep track of where this thing is coming from, so on and so forth. But again, that's just me. Okay, watermarking. This is also important. Okay. Obviously, all the free ones are going to have watermark over your work, and you don't want a big old watermark ruining the thing that you're making. So one of the things that I was looking at is, okay, can I, how do you say, can I remove the watermark once I pay? And a lot of them did provide, some of them said see details. They're very specific of how they did certain things. So make sure you read the fine detail. Um, and then right here, sticker creator. I just wanted to see if I can find one that just made stickers, and one of them did. This one's not important, but I really wanted one that kind of did. There is something else that I did want to talk about that was in here. I believe is in the public or private. Where'd you go? There's so much garbage in here. Okay, right here. Okay, so this right here, I think Meshi might be one of the few ones. Okay, so one of the things that I'm in tracking is that right now the Copyright Office is having a hard time still determining if AI content can be copywritten. And when you're creating a show, that is actually important to do. That's just to protect your work. Um, so what I'm reading a little bit more into it is that as of today, right now, any content that you just simply flat out made in AI with no previous human contribution, you cannot copyright because the machine is doing it for you. However, if you're using it as a tool for production for something you design, then you can partially kind of copyright the content, and that becomes very important. You can look into copyright laws and all that stuff, but I'm going to kind of borrow this right here. You have different rights of copyright, including like common commons, and it's got like all kinds of different variations of it. So yeah, but that is something that you want to look into when you are now dealing with AI. And again, at this point, it's still very young in this environment, so the legal system hasn't quite caught up with it yet, but it's something important to keep track of. Um, Audio capacity. Now, obviously, Polo only focuses on image generation and video generation, so in this case, doesn't really apply. But that's pretty much kind of where I've been at. Now, let's talk about some of the tools that I've been looking into. So sorry, my hair's on my face and it itches. Okay, so Polo AI is one that I'm considering mostly because I seem to get the most bang for the buck, and it's been recommended by a couple people. So it's one of those things that I'm currently looking at, and I'm watching YouTube videos of other people's experiences on it, and then how to kind of create a flow around that. Because again, we already did all the pre-production stuff. Now is how to build a good production flow to go from there. And I wanted to start originally with one of the audio shorts, but I think I want to start with a clip first. I know I keep going further and further smaller, but that's okay. I'm being realistic. There is an audio clip that I posted on our Facebook, and it is a clip of General Goey, voiced by me, by the way. And she is complaining about how Scully failed the fitness test, and even the combat rock can pass it. So I want to just kind of animate that as a test. It's not very complicated. It's just her sitting in a chair, basic background. You see the screen, over the shoulder shot, and then her responding to it. That is a really good starting simple test. So that's where I want to start. Okay, so I'm looking at that. So in my mind, I'm keeping track of what I need from that. And you need to have tests like that so that way you can actually build your full production. So that's a good starting point right there. Anyway, so Polo AI seems to be a really good one. I was also looking at Open Art. And this right here is mostly AI in video, but obviously it was just kind of like a light idea because they made stickers and I just kind of want to fiddle with it. So this is kind of like a strong meh. But technically, Polo right now seems to be the winner for visuals and video generation is what I'm looking at. If I do need 3D assets, I mentioned this before. Let me head over here, and I've been bookmarking a lot of these. So Meshi is one that I was looking into, and these guys make 3D assets. Maybe this is something that we might need down the line. So this is one that I'm considering for possible 3D assets like the ships and all that stuff. If I can build the model and then come up with like a 360 rotation of it to feed to the algorithm, that might be a good way to go. Now, here's the thing that I hate about some of these platforms, and OpenAI, ChatGPT. I went to the root DALI, and I was trying to find because what was it? OpenArt AI was using the DALI engine in order to just kind of generate the content on the platform. So I went to the OG and looked for it, and let me tell you, I couldn't figure out that pricing for the life of me. It was incredibly technical. Like this runs by a fraction of a penny, and I was like, bro, I don't want to deal with this. I just want a basic payment plan. And maybe that's something I just have to look a little bit further more, and I just got stuck in the wrong page. But if your payment plan is that complicated, I'm not gonna trust you to put my credit card on it because I don't want you guys pulling $1,000 out of my account because I screwed up. Now, here's the other thing to keep in mind as you're going through these pricing. It's something that I kind of caught on. Some of these, most of these, because you're using a lot of computing power, anytime that you are, how do you say, anytime you're generating anything, you are literally eating your tokens. There's no redos. So make sure you get your prompt nice and tight and use a prompt writer to make sure you get exactly what you want before you go ahead and start implementing it into your main video generator. So again, if you use AI tools, I'd love to hear from you, but this is what I caught from a lot of the videos that I've been watching and a lot of the how do you say just feedback on what I've been reading throughout the pages per the actual description in the pages. They're like, yeah, if you need to, you create it and you have to refine it. Every time you refine it, they charge you per refinement. So keep that in mind too. Okay, so Polo is my head starter for like video and imagery at $15, which is not bad. Meshi I don't need for right now. I was checking Luna Labs. They're okay. Like I said, they're interesting. They're more like if you want to mostly like just do special effects. So if I'm filming myself in the room right now, and then you want to add like a space scene, I can film myself doing like this, and then I can just put in that video, put it on their platform, and go, put me in a spacesuit or under the sea with squid grabbing me or something. So it actually adds special effects around your video. So that's pretty much more, excuse me, what Luma Labs does. Now right here, here's another one that I've been seeing a lot on LinkedIn. It's called Kling. Kling, it does image, video, and audio. And I was looking at some of the pricing. It seemed okay. It does text to video, image to video. It does AI. It does AI generation. So it does a lot of things. But I want to do a little more research on it. It didn't quite hit everything the way that I wanted it, but it's something that I've been keeping an eye on because I keep seeing it in, how do you call it, LinkedIn. Stable diffusion, again, I looked at it, meh, not my thing. Now, here's one that I currently have access to, and it might be a good starting point for me. So, as I mentioned before, I currently have an Adobe subscription. I've been paying for one for a really long time. And let me tell you, Adobe puts out so much stuff that I feel like I'm paying for subscription and I'm barely scratching 20-30% of the capability. Because most of what I do is Photoshop and Illustrator, and then with a little bit of Flash and some of like Adobe XD. But like I have apparently a cloud storage and I have some AI tools. So since I've been paying for it, I'm looking into it. So right now, this is how much I pay a month anyway. And again, this is part of my pre-existing budget. So I might just start with that. It does image, video, and audio. However, when you are a paid subscribed person like I am, you get 1,000 tokens a month. But when I was looking at the pricing, which I have it somewhere, I need to find it. Like I would only be getting like 10, 15 seconds a month worth of video at most. Um, but it's a good starting point and something to fiddle with. I mean, the worst that can happen is that I use up my 1,000 tokens and I have a better idea what to do somewhere else. But so far, the Adobe one does a lot of stuff, and the good part is you do have priority support because everything on there is a paid subscription. I can do everything from audio, video, all that fun stuff. It's at professional level. It is very high quality stuff, but again, your quality is as good as the prompt that you put in it. So it's just kind of like anything. You can have the best art supplies, but if your skill set is lacking, it's not going to matter. So you have to make sure that you use that to the max. It does have a commercial licensing. It doesn't really generate 3D models, but yes, the content can be copywritten. So that is important. It can be copywritten, which is great, and it can be used for commercial use. Um, Now, the last one that I was looking at is some of the audio, and I was looking at 11 Labs. I'm pretty sure there's a few other ones, but 11 Labs seems to be the one that it keeps coming up over and over and over again. And again, most of what I'll probably need, it might just be like a starter because I don't need a lot of like AI voice acting at this moment, and that'd be like a whopping $5 a month. So if I'm looking at this for Polo, that's $15 at most, assuming I don't start with ChatGPT or what is it, Adobe Firefly, and then we have an additional $5. So I'm still way below my budget at this time, which is great. Like I said, I'm trying to pinch pennies here to maximize the production of this. But they do text to it's called text to voice. They also do AI conversation, and they also do voice cloning. And depending on which type of subscription you have, I am not an audio person. I know a little bit. As you go higher into the tiers, you get better quality audio until you reach like the 4K quality audio. So if audio is your jam and you need voices, this is pretty much what I'm currently looking at. Excuse me. Oh my god. They do have custom model trainings. They got multi-mode support. They do have constant character voice, and again, you're dealing with animation. You want to make sure those voices stay consistent on there. They do have party support. They do also have AI watermarking for audio. Yes, that is a thing. This is how your phone can recognize songs because once you create a product, it has a nested watermark on it so all devices can recognize it no matter where it is. Or if you try to alter it, there's a way to track it. Kind of like they did like nested copyright encrypted into images. You could do the same thing with audio. That is incredibly old. It's been around for a long time. It's just that now the average Joe like myself can actually have access to that. All right. And right here, so here's some of the stuff that I'm looking at. So right now I'm probably looking at a starter account, which is $5 a month. And again, you need to make sure you're getting your return on investment. I'm not doing really big projects right now, so I don't need to get the premium one because I'm aware that the credits don't roll over into the next month. So no point spending extra on material that I'm not gonna use, and it goes bye bye. So the basic one gives you around 30 minutes, 20 projects a month. So that to me is plenty. This is gonna be a starter project. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Probably what I'll start would be with the Adobe one, just so I can learn from my mistakes. It's already part of my subscription. Play with 11 Labs. So I'm hoping to have some couple clips for you guys next time I hop on, and a couple images that I want to show you guys. And then from there, if once I'm more comfortable with the subscriptions that I already have, then go ahead and start trying to generate some of the AI stuff and then start going more into production. So this is more the stuff that I want to do. Sorry, something bit me. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate it. If you like this type of content, please support the channel, like and subscribe. I know. Look at that. Like and subscribe, baby. It feels weird every time I say it. But like and subscribe. Support the channel. Let me have this, man. Let me have this. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. You guys have been awesome. Again, if you use AI tools, please, please, please comment below the video. I will be reading your comments. I welcome, if you've done production with AI tools, I welcome that. It's the kind of information that I want to learn as I'm going through this process. And let's face it, right now, the only thing I got to do is apply for work and learn new skills. That's pretty much all I can do right now. So if I can get the Astrocats project in the meantime and learn something new, I am going to be so ecstatic. But anyway, guys, I appreciate your time and y'all have a great day. Peace.